What's going on, NBL Network? This is episode number 28 of the Commissioner's Corner podcast. We have a special episode tonight. We got the 3 and Out finalist lip. So a big thing going on December 15th. It is Friday. So another great thing going on. Commissioner Corner podcast every other Friday on the NBL Network. First things first, web3cast.com is the official sponsor for the Commissioner's Corner podcast. You can get creative graphics for all your needs, and it's affordable pricing, all kinds of things. If you got a Twitter account, a YouTube account, or you're just a creator in general and you're looking for those high premium, low price graphics, go to web3cast.com. You can find them on Twitter at All Business. Don't forget to give NBL a follow at Bomber League. Let's talk about this NBL live schedule straight off the bat. But first, Lip, how excited are you to have these guys on the show right now?
It's going to be exciting. It's going to get spicy tonight. And yes, spicy is a new word that I'm going to start using a little bit more because I like things spicy, and that's what's going to happen tonight with these guys. And these questions are tough. So I'm very excited to see how they handle them, and I think there's going to be some pleasurable moments that come from them.
All right, guys, let me know how the music sounds right now. I got a Hop in the house producing for us right now. Hop, did we get that music down a little bit for everybody? I think we should be good on the music. Guys, let us know if the music's too loud. Right now, we'll adjust on the fly, and as we go, here we go. So let's start NBL live schedule. Let's get it up on the board right now. Hop's going to pull that graphic for us, Lip. Are you excited about any of these games upcoming on this NBL live play-by-play schedule? You see a couple good ones, man. There's a couple that I'm really intrigued by, especially towards the end of the season. Which game really stands out to you?
Well, I think that next week is going to be exciting for me because I like to watch Seth. I like to see what he's doing. So the Titans and the Texans is going to be interesting. But also, I'm looking at week 11. We've got Unisolated and OSU going at it, and that's going to be a little battle of network directing going on there on the field. I'm excited to see that one play out.
Yeah, that's the Raiders versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can find the Jaguars on the NBL Network for building the franchise Jacksonville Jaguars. They are guaranteeing a victory against the Oakland Raiders, who have been playing phenomenal this season. The Raiders are currently 6-1. The Jaguars are 4-4. So you got a 500 team guaranteeing a victory against a team, batting nearly perfect. Only 6-1 right now. Only one loss. So that's going to be a real interesting rivalry, and we got that on the network in week number. What week number is it? Week number 11 coming up. Currently in week 8, about to advance to week 9, guys. Let's move on to the topics we got today. Russell Wilson, he got paid. I heard he bought all his friends around at the club, man. They were partying it up. I mean, $150 million. Can you blame him? But he hasn't really lived up to the hype just yet. But man, I mean, is he worth it? $150 million for Russell Wilson? I asked the ownership before we actually came on the air how they felt about this contract, giving Russell Wilson all this guarantee. I think it was $63 million guaranteed. I mean, crazy. And they said, well, when you got what you consider to be a top 3, top 4 quarterback in the NBL, he's won a Super Bowl with us in NBL season 26. You have to pay the man, and that's exactly what they did for the 30-year-old Russell Wilson. But a 6-year deal for a 30-year-old quarterback, what kind of longevity do you think Russell Wilson has in the league? And do you think this contract was a bit of a reach or an over-extension of what they probably should have paid him?
I think that there's two ways of looking at this right now. The positive thing is that a lot of teams have the idea that when somebody wins a Super Bowl, especially a quarterback, you have no question about paying them. He has given them one Super Bowl, another trip to the Super Bowl. He has earned it from that perspective. But there's also the dark perspective, and the fact that he has dropped in quarterback rating each year for the last 3 years. That is a giant red flag for this quarterback. But I think that the fact that he can use his legs like we've seen him do so many times, especially on NBL Live in big games, the big moments, that adds more value to this massive deal as they move forward. And I think that might be the one thing that Russell Wilson has over a lot of quarterbacks that makes you say that this is not that bad of a deal. If he was going to get older and not be able to move like already immobile quarterbacks, then it'd be a giant, red flag. But I think just because it's Russell Wilson, it's not that bad of a deal.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Russell. He signed that contract between week 1 and week 2. And that's when he had one of his worst QBRs following in week 3 against the San Francisco 49ers. Big shout out to the 49ers organization. They are looking great early in this season, atop that division right now. But week 2, he had a 58 QBR, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Week 3, he hit the absolute wall. They lost 9-6 to a San Francisco team that is very young. And you expect a quarterback that you're willing to pay $150 million to, Lip, has to come up big in these division games against a young San Francisco team. You don't want to give any kind of, you don't want to kind of help towards the maturation of a young team, right? So you essentially want to just keep them down and make them believe it's not their time. It's not their time. But in San Francisco, they're starting to think maybe our time is now. They held Russell Wilson to 8 for 17, 144 yards. He was sacked, wait for it, 6 times, Lip. 6 times. He was 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. QBR of his lowest in 3 seasons of 37. Now, a quarterback with the wheels of Russell Wilson, you don't see him going down 6 times, but they did a great job containing the edge and making him have to stay in the pocket and become a pocket passer, and he was not effective. But since then, 3 of the last 4 games, he's had over 100 QBR, including games against Pittsburgh. He was a 110 in a loss. He was a 106 against Baltimore in a loss. But in a win versus Atlanta, in which they won 34-0, he had a 114 QBR, but he only threw the ball 11 times. Comes back against Cleveland in another loss. They lost 35-30. He threw 45% completion, QBR of 78. Something is seriously wrong right now in Seattle. I do not like this contract because I just haven't seen the play to back it up. Even in the year when they won the Super Bowl in NBL Season 26, we didn't see a ton of Russell Wilson as he suffered injuries throughout that entire year. So you think an injury-prone quarterback heading into his early 30s, you're planning to sign him a 6-year extension, right? 7-year extension, excuse me. It was 7 years, $150 million. You're going to have this guy till he's 37 years old, and he's only showed you in his late 20s, Lip, that, hey, I'm an injury-prone quarterback and I get hurt, and my play hasn't been too stellar as of late.
Yeah, and I think that the part of it that, like I talked about, that can help you sleep at night is that they've got their Super Bowl out of the way. Now he's getting his money. But the thing that if that's not true, if you're looking at this as a big piece, moving forward, he's going to be the leader. He's going to be the guy. You're locked in now. But the scary thing is, we've been talking about it for a long time. The 49ers, like you mentioned, got the win in the first game. They play them next week in Week 9, and if that would be a loss for the Seahawks, they would drop to 2-6. We've seen the Seahawks have these slow starts to the season and come back and make it to the Super Bowl. But I think that could be the kill shot delivered by the 49ers to the Seahawks at 2-6. I don't think that they would have a chance to come back. I think that would put the 49ers or the Rams, just because the Rams are a game above the Seahawks right now, that put one of those 2 teams in the driver's seat for the division. And I don't think the Seahawks could come back. And if you don't come back this year and don't have any fight left in you, the 49ers team is not going to get any older, and they're not going to get any worse. That's going to be their division for a long time if you can't put up a fight right now.
But you think this is a good signing, right? That's your overall consensus that Russell Wilson is a star quarterback and he's worth star money, right?
Yeah. 2 trips to the Super Bowl in years where you need to rely on a guy. Yeah, I think that you pay the guy.
See, you're coming from a different mindset than me. My mindset is I'm paying a guy for 7 years of what he can do from right now for 7 years, right? You're thinking, which is commendable. Obviously, you come from a loyalty organization. You run a loyal organization in Pittsburgh. What have you done for me? Have you earned this contract? Let's pay you out for what you've done. He already won the Super Bowl. He's already been to 2 NFC championships. He's absolutely struggling right now in a division that is he the best quarterback in the NFC West? I mean, on paper, hands down, Russell Wilson is worth $150 million to keep him that far ahead at the quarterback position for the rest of the guys. I mean, if you look at who's in Seattle, who's in the Rams right now, they have who at quarterback? Since this is Trivia Friday, Lip, I'll put you on the spot.
Eli Manning.
Eli Manning's the quarterback. So Russell Wilson or Eli Manning? We're going Russell Wilson. 49ers quarterback. They have a young quarterback right now. They're playing Warren Ailman, and they've also played a little bit of C.J. Beathard. But Ailman seems to be the guy. This is a guy that he's not ready yet, and I don't know if he ever will be. He was a second-round draft pick in NBL Season 27, University of Georgia, 22 years old, 6'1", 218, QBR of 62, 5 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. His QBR his rookie year, he threw 151 passes, he spotted, he came in, they took him out, they kind of rotated him in a couple games, only 151 attempts, he was 3 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, so I guess he's getting a little bit better, but this isn't a guy that you could compare to Russell Wilson. So why is Russell Wilson not able to carry this team? I understand they lost Earl Thomas. I understand Richard Sherman has been in and out of the lineup, and he's obviously regressing. He's an older player now. But 30 years old, Russell Wilson is in his prime. He should be carrying this team. They shouldn't be 2-5 right now. They should be 6-1 right now, way ahead of this division and looking to win this division for the 4th season in a row. I don't see it. I think it was an overpay. And I really believe in Russell Wilson's talent. I just don't believe in his talent with this team. I don't see the impact for $150 million. So I would definitely say this was a reach. And I don't think they should have made this contract. We obviously differ on this, but that's my thought on Russell Wilson. Any final thoughts on that Russell Wilson contract?
Well, you bring up the defense, and the reality is that the defense truly isn't suffering that much, though. If you look at the rankings, they're 4th in yards, 7th against the pass, 8th against the run. Their points is a little higher than before. It's 13. But the defense did not drop off this massive cliff. They still have a very good defense. But when you look at offense, they're 29th in passing, and that's where that's where I can see the questions coming around this contract, because you pay that guy that much money.
But the defense is giving up 20 points a game. The defense, their defense, when they won the Super Bowl, you know what they were giving up, Liv? They were giving up less than 11 points per game. It's doubled what they're giving up now. Their offense has never been a big offense. They're a power run team by Thomas Rawls, who I believe is a top 5 halfback. He's still doing it now. 75 carries, 503 yards, 4 touchdowns, 6.7 yards per carry. And you're going to tell me that guy is not enough to take some pressure off Russell Wilson to improve his QBR? Because right now, $150 million to pay a quarterback playing alongside a talented halfback like Thomas Rawls, I would have to see a lot more. The defense is not the same, but the offense, don't you think it should be better? This is the 3rd season they're playing together. You still have Jimmy Graham. You still have Tyler Lockett. You have Amara Darboh, who's growing and developing. Obviously, a declining Doug Baldwin. But with Thomas Rawls, I think that should make Russell Wilson look that much more, look better. And honestly, he actually doesn't look very good, or if he even looks good at all. I mean, this guy is really struggling right now. The offense only scoring 21 points per game. The defense giving up 20. That's a big concern for me moving forward, but we'll continue to monitor that. Now let's move on to the NFC South. Lip, you voiced a bolsterous opinion about this division. So what do you got to say about him right now?
I think,
okay,
and I said this, we talked about this last 2 episodes ago. Somebody had mentioned in the Crossfire section of the show who we thought could make it to the NFC Championship, and we were talking about a team from this division. And I'm gonna go out and say that I think one of these teams, the Panthers or the Falcons, the Saints are close, but I think they're gonna hit a little bit of a rough patch that's gonna put them out of the conversation. But I think that the Panthers or the Falcons could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Not just make it to the conference championship game, but one of these teams will make the big game. And that's what I'm seeing from these 2 teams, the way that they're playing. And this division is so competitive right now. It's far more competitive than I'd ever thought it was going to be.
Okay, all right. So we're talking about a deep playoff run. You're saying from the Panthers or the Falcons. So, I'm going to ask you this. You've won 4 NBL Super Bowls. You've been there how many times? 6? I don't want to shortchange you here.
Yes. 4 and 2 in the big game.
Okay, so you've been there 6 times. I've been there 8. I've got 5. What is the most important thing to have? And we've seen both of our teams have had this happen in NBL history. What is the most important thing to have in the playoffs? A healthy roster. Would you agree or disagree to that?
Yeah, health is a huge thing.
You're choosing 2 of the most injury-prone teams arguably in the league. The Giants are taking it.
There's a point to this.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Did I cut you off early?
No. There's a point to this. The Panthers right now are playing without Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. Like normal. Usually they are.
Normal. However, he's still out, I think, 4 or 5 weeks. He's going to have a couple weeks to come back at the end of the season to break off the rust, and then he's going to be healthy all of playoffs. And then you put him in the backfield with Heath Joyce, who has lit the league on fire the last 2 years. Last year, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. This year, 20 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. QBR over 115 both years so far. The guy is killing it. When you put Christian McCaffrey in the backfield healthy in the playoffs, I think that this is the team that's going to take the NFC, and they're going to take it by surprise. Nobody's going to think that this team's going to be able to put it together.
Full-fledged Panthers. You want me to read? Okay, let me tell you the top 4 receivers for the Carolina Panthers right now. I'm just going to name their name. And you tell me if this sounds like a healthy group of guys for you, okay? You ready? Curtis Samuel, Philip Dorsett, Kelvin Benjamin, and your favorite, Ladarius Green. I mean, clean bill of health. The guy hasn't been hurt ever, right?
He's never healthy. He's healthy like 3 weeks a year, man.
And this is a guy that, he's 19 catches, 332 yards midway through. So he's on pace to get, 700 yards and 40 catches and 6 touchdowns. That's a big contribution to this team. Philip Dorsett has been hurt multiple times for the Colts. That's why they decided, it was time that they moved on from Philip Dorsett. Curtis Samuel, same thing. He's been up and down. And Christian McCaffrey has 6 catches for 94 yards. Obviously a halfback, but he hasn't been healthy at all. The only one that's been somewhat healthy for this team, and it's still too early to tell, is the second-round pick out of Louisville last year, NBL Season 27 rookie draft, the 6'4", 230-pound Heath Joyce. And this franchise is rejoicing at the idea of him being their long-term quarterback because he's been more consistent than Cam. He's looked like a superstar. I put him up there with the class with Belisari, Davis Webb, and Heath Joyce might be the top of that list as young quarterbacks really developing in the NFC. But if you have nobody to throw to, Lip, there comes a time, especially in playoff football, where you go, what can he do? You can't make a dime out of a nickel. Unless you're investing in Bitcoin. See, I had to throw that out there. Potentially you could. If that's a situation.
I mean, whenever it's paying off, you just keep letting it ride. But I don't think that the injuries have made that big of a difference. Heath Joyce has played extremely well, except for a game against the Colts, which does not make much sense to me. But against the Saints, against the Jaguars, against the Saints again, and then the Buccaneers, he's played very well, even with all these injuries. So I think once you get healthy in the playoffs, that's going to make this team even more dangerous because they're having success right now, and they don't have a whole lot of consistency, like you said, as far as players being in the same spot every week. You give me Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, and I don't even care who you give me a wide receiver. I think that Heath Joyce can carry this team. And then you give me Christian McCaffrey, I think that they'll run through the NFC.
I'm not touching Carolina or the Atlanta Falcons because of injury. I'm looking at healthy teams in the NFC, teams that can, make things happen, and they can't withstand an injury or two. You've seen that in Minnesota. Their halfback goes down. But for the most part, this has been a fairly healthy Minnesota team. Obviously, Dalvin Cook seems to go down every year. It's almost like he takes his yearly escape to the trainer, and he's back, and he comes back fresher, and he's just as deadly as he was. That's a team that stays healthy that I think is a dangerous team. I don't like any teams in the NFC South, and if I did, I like the Saints, but they're just inconsistent. They fall at the same point as what happens with the Washington Redskins. What is your identity? I need to see a fingerprint. You need to tell me who you are. And if you don't have an identity, what can you really lean on in the playoffs when the competition gets tougher and then you're on the road and you're facing a tough, team that has been winning in the regular season as well? They got the home field advantage. What are you really going to fall back on? And I think they don't know yet. I don't believe 100% in Tevin Coleman just yet. I mean, it's a half season into a new team. Teams will start figuring them out, and they'll slow them down from 6.6 yards per carry. But it's time to move on. It's time to move on to the show, Lip. You're going to take the lead on this. It's time for our 3-and-out finals. Season 1 is over. Our finals contestants right now, we have OSU and Kyle in chat. Kyle, you with us right now? Absolutely. Kyle's here right now, as you can't hear me neither. OSU, are you here?
I get the win then, right? He's just gone.
So it looks like it might be a forfeit. He might not even take the
Kyle
field.
Likes to proclaim himself as the third commissioner of NBO, and he's not even here.
The third commissioner's here.
High quality, Mike. What are you using right there?
Are you recording from the third stall in the public bathroom?
I'm multitasking.
And there we go. All right, so we got a lot of people here right now. Lip, go ahead and break down how this is going to work. The final episode of 3-and-out. We got the scoreboard. Let's throw the score on there for us, Hop. Get us updated why these two guys are here and what they scored on the original 3-and-out. This is going to be a little twist to the game. It's going to be a little head-to-head. And the winner of this head-to-head goes on and takes on Lip. I'll be asking the final question. It'll be the boss mode, and if you win that, OSU or Kyle will be into the Hall of Champions, the Wall of Champions, for the Commissioner Corner podcast, and we'll honor them with every Commissioner Corner podcast episode that comes out right at the beginning of the show, right after we do Web3Chaos.com, our current sponsor. So let's break down, there we see on the board right there, 12 points from OSU. Titan Rod with 9 points, of course. We gotta really start monitoring this guy's graphics, man.
I got the greatest Ben Roethlisberger player of the game card. That's the greatest graphic I've ever seen in my life.
And what was that?
He used the Ben Roethlisberger from a South Park episode. And
Absolutely.
it was the greatest thing I ever saw in my life. But yes, we do have to monitor him moving forward.
All right, so Lip, break down how this is going to work, how we're going to ask the questions moving forward. Hop will be keeping score. Go ahead, Lip.
All right, this is the head-to-head version. This is for you guys being the top 2 contestants from this season. We're going to ask you a question. I'm going to then read you the answers. You're going to have to submit your answer through text, through the GroupMe app to Bomber. I'll read the question, read you the answers. Once I'm done, you text your answer to Bomber. And then this is going to be straight up. The most correct answers out of 20 is going to be our winner. If there's a tie, we'll go into a tiebreaker situation. We have a question prepared. We'll go through that if we get there. And there's no lifelines tonight. We've thrown the lifelines out. It's just straight up. If you get it, you get a point. If you don't, you don't. Most out of 20 is going to be our winner, and that's how the show's going to roll. Are you guys ready?
So I can't ask Delvar. I can't ask Delvar for the right answer.
Unfortunately, we're taking a hit on our entertainment points tonight. We do not have an Ask Delvar section.
Can I say one thing before we start?
Hurry up. Make it quick. Go. 5, 4,
OSU,
3.
any final words?
All right, too late. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kyle.
Any final words, Nick?
Final words.
Okay, I win now, right? Like,
all right, let's go.
No
let's get the questions going. You get 20 questions. Person with the highest score wins. If it's a tie, we go into a final heads up. I think Lip, you never DM me on what we do with the tiebreaker.
I
Lip,
did.
You have the question though, right, Lip?
I do have the question.
Okay, well then we're good to go. Let's rock and roll. Here we go. Hop's going to be keeping score of how it's going. You can keep score as well. Guys, let us know in the chat your predictions. Who you think is going to walk away with the win, and you think they're really going to be able to take on Lip in that boss mode and beat him on some NBL historical knowledge. That's going to be the challenge of the night, the winner of this, to see if they can beat Lip and get into that wall of champions for the Commissioner Corner podcast. After this, don't forget, we are going to have the Crossfire segment where you get to choose a topic. We're going to do it real quick, probably 2 to 5 minutes, 5 minutes long, excuse me. And let's get going. Question number 1. Let's go, Lip.
Question number 1. Which owner held the record for single-season most interceptions before Bananas? Was it Sonny? Was it Star? Or was it Porter?
That's actually a great question. Comes with a lot of history in the NBL. Who held the interception record before Bananas right now? And I'm getting messages already. All right, I got OSU's answer in, and I got Kyle's answer in. They both have said the same answer. Porter, which is the correct answer, and he won it with Brandon Marshall. Let's see if in the chat you guys can remember how many interceptions Brandon Marshall had. That was from Madden 17, I believe, Lip, correct?
Attaboy, Boots.
Good season from the middle linebacker.
All right, it's 1-1. Great job on those answers. Let's go to question number 2.
Question number 2. Who was the owner of the Indianapolis Colts to start this cycle Madden 18? Was it Jackie Moon? Was it Markov? Or was it Todd?
Waiting on the questions to come in right now. Repeat that question for the audience in the chat right now.
Who was the owner of the Colts to start Madden 18? Jackie Moon, Markov, or Todd? Todd the Killer.
All right, OSU saying Todd, and Porter has said Markov. And why is Price? Price is messaging me after every question he's answering.
What was Kyle's answer?
Kyle's answer was Markov, and OSU's was Todd.
With many question marks after it.
All right, answer. What's the answer, Lip?
The correct answer is Markov. Markov was originally the Indianapolis Colts owner, but him and another guy, I can't remember the other guy's name. It escapes me.
All right, well, in chat right now, another one of the Canadian Crusaders. He was from Canada as well.
Was Markov even a real person?
La Resistance.
Markov was the other triplet of Iceberg and Bayou.
All right, so right now we got a 2-1 score, right, Hop? That's going to be 2 for Kyle, 1 for OSU. OSU's down a little bit right now. Let's go to question number
3 for those of you math majors at home.
3 for one of those math majors at home.
All right.
4 for some reason.
This is a situational question. Have your ears peeled. It is 3rd down with 2 seconds left in the first half. You have the ball on your opponent's 25-yard line. You select fake field goal and you score. Is this a legal or an illegal play based on NBL rules?
All right, got the answer in from OSU already. Awaiting Kyle. Both of them have selected legal.
Kyle, stop looking up the rules.
Which is absolutely correct. Nice job for both of them. That's going to give a score of 3. What's the score? 3-2?
Got him.
3-2. Kyle's got 3, and that puts OSU at 2. Question number 4.
Question number 4. What team was Lip, myself, when I first joined the Madden Bomber League? Was I the Bears, the Texans, or the Steelers?
The music is playing right now, guys. And, wow. Both of them select the Chicago Bears, which is actually incorrect. Lip's original team was the, wait for it. I remember very well because we got into a huge trade fight about this.
We were talking like we were at a bar or something.
Yeah. He was in Houston, Texas. He was interested in trading somebody for somebody. I don't want to get into it all right now. But, yeah, he originally was in Houston, Texas. Both of those guys got it wrong. So we're moving on to question number 5 right now, guys. Hit them with the question. Of course, score is currently Kyle 3, OSU 2.
Question number 5. Who referred our very own N train to the NBL? Was it Playa? Was it me, Lip? Or was it Tot?
Here we go, man. We're in the live stream right now. I'm waiting on answers. I got them both in. OSU is saying Lip. Kyle Matt Miller is saying Tot. The answer is actually Tot. Kyle with another correct answer puts him to 4, OSU to 2. Kyle, I got to know how you know that.
Get good.
Did you just choose the most irrational answer there was on there and just with a pure guess or what?
Irrational, yeah.
All right, so question number 5 goes to Kyle. Kyle's got 4, OSU 2, but it's all right. We still have a lot of time left. Moving on to question number 6.
Question number 6. Who was the owner of the Packers in Madden 15 in NBL? Was it Justin Basson? Was it October? Or was it Bots?
Interesting question. Obviously, me and Lip were both in this division. So a lot of, as OSU's answer is already in, waiting on Kyle Matt Miller. And OSU finally gets a win over the Flat Killer. Flat Killer goes with Bots. Bots was an owner of the Packers, but not in that Madden. This was actually currently Justin Basson. So the answer is correct for OSU as he picks that and gets 3 points. He's going to be 3-4 right now. Kyle's got 4, OSU with 3. We're on to question number 7 right now. Lip, hit him with it. It's 4-4?
Hop says 4-4.
It does not, math major. I only have 3.
Yeah, it's 4-3.
Hop.
Hey, we're only counting one at a time. You got one job. Hop told us the score was 4-4. Guys, can we clarify in the chat that is actually 4-3 or is it 4-4? I want to make sure we go.
I also have 3-4.
Bring Delvar back.
I feel like.
And here we go.
Hashtag rip Delvar.
All right, it's 4-3. It's got to be because he had a 2.2.
Trust me, if there was one person who'd be fighting for 4-4, it's me. It's 4-3.
Yeah, 4-3. OSU's down. We're on to question number 7. A lot of time left. A lot of game left. Let's see if Kyle can keep his luck up and OSU can take this lead. We'll see what happens. Lip, question number 7.
Question number 7. Who is the next NBL owner to get the NBL championship belt? Is it Bananas, Delvar, or Timbo?
This was actually announced in the chat, guys. So if you follow along in the chat, you would know who's going to be receiving this belt next. The news actually came out today. So hopefully you guys have been listening. Let's see if the answers are in. I believe the answers are both in. Kyle says Bananas. OSU says Delvar. The correct answer is Bananas, and it's going to get another point to Kyle.
Let's be clear. I purchased this belt. Nobody cleared it with me that we could send that belt to Bananas. So no, it's Delvar. Point Mazeska.
Well, actually,
right
I paid for half of it too. So
okay, well then I get half a vote for Delvar.
Just remember, this is coming from Kyle's house. I'm not sure anybody wants the belt.
Yo, you need to put a black light on that and see what kind of residue is on that championship belt. All right, so Kyle's got 5. OSU has 3, right? I'm still confused, though. Hop really messed me up. So it's 5-3 right now. Still a lot of time left. Question number 8. Go ahead, Lip.
Question number 8. These 2 owners went to the same high school, Columbia City High School. Was it TFA and Doughboy? Was it Pricey and Bob? Or was it Playa and Fry? Both owners went to the same high school.
Here we go. I'm waiting the answers. The first answer is in. And they both selected Pricey and Bob. That is correct. Two guys that actually went to the same high school, and they're just about 30 years old as well. I think Pricey's about 33. Josh is 32. So big shout out to them. Pricey and Josh both went to Columbia City High School, and that's going to be a point for both of them. That's 6 for Kyle, 4 for OSU. He's trailing by 2, but there's a lot of game left. Question number 9 in the finalists for the 3-and-out show, and the prize is still yet to be announced. We don't even know what we're going to give you guys.
Yeah. Tough. Question number 9. The first ever NBL podcast was hosted by who? Sonny Weaver, Tom Monteith, or P Money?
And the question is the first ever NBL podcast, not NBL Live podcast. So if you want to change your answer, anybody want to change their answer to that? Okay. Looks like we got answers in. Yeah, because it's not the NBL Live podcast, it's the NBL podcast. And OSU says Tom, and Kyle says Tom as well. And the answer is?
P Money was I think I was the first guest on that show.
Yep, it was called Inside the NBL.
Long time ago.
Question number 10 coming up. Both players didn't get it wrong, and the score is currently 6-4. Kyle's ahead of OSU. We're almost halfway into the game. We still have 10 questions after this one. Question number 10.
What team was Sonny when NBL was originally created back in Madden 25? The Browns, the Jets, or the Bengals?
NBL was originally created. What team was he? Kyle's answer is already in. OSU as well. Both of them said the Browns. That is absolutely incorrect. The correct answer is Sonny Weaver was the New York Jets. Believe it or not, guys, he was actually the New York Jets in the first 3 seasons of the NBL. That's some deep history right there. As both of them are incorrect, it's going to be 6-4 right now. Question number 11, Lip.
Which one of these owners has never hosted an NBL podcast? TFA, Tot, or Gub?
Very interesting question right now. We'll see if our guys will be able to get this one right. This is question number 11. Kyle currently with 6, OSU with 4, and they say the guy who's never hosted. They both said Tot, which is, wait, is that correct or incorrect?
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect, because Todd actually hosted 4 Verts podcast with Sonny Weaver. He was the co-host alongside there. The actual answer was Gub. For those out there wanting to know some crazy deep history of the NBL. Question number, what are we on now? Question number 12?
12.
Question number 12, score is currently 6-4.
Here we go. We're gonna find out how much you know about the personal lives of some NBL owners.
All right, I'm out.
This NBL owner works for a tech company that buys and sells gift cards through an app. Is it N-Train, Draco, or Serpent?
That's actually a good question. I figured this out about him maybe a couple weeks ago. Definitely some information about the guys that we should all know about each other. As the answers are starting to come in, let's see. Kyle, Matt Miller, the Flat Killers, got his answer in. And Kyle goes with Draco. And Nick Mazesco, OSU, goes with Serpent. The correct answer is Draco.
I just want the most ridiculous answer.
7. It's going to be 6-7-4 right now. Question number 13. OSU has to get cooking right now. He's got to make up a 3-point difference with 7 questions left. Can he do it? Question number 13.
Who is often considered the angriest man in our group me chat? Is it Sonny, TFA, or Unisolated?
Here we go. This is going to be really probably an easy question. They're both going to get this right.
I said it before it was finished.
And absolutely, both of them say Unisolated, a.k.a. the NBL Hulk. He's getting Hulk on everybody, and that, if you're in the chat, you know all about Unisolated and his rage. And it isn't directed towards the Madden game. That's the crazy. Well, maybe sometimes, but most of the time,
it's mostly about
towards
scheduling.
other members.
It's mostly about when advances are. He usually takes it out on me.
Yep.
Absolutely. So that's going to be a score for both of them.
Advances.
It's 8-5 right now. OSU with 5. Kyle with 8. Question number 14. Let's see if OSU can get cooking here and make this comeback, make it interesting for us on this finalist. These are the 2 finalists. OSU had the highest regular season score. He came into the playoff against Kyle, and they're battling it out right now. Definitely some great information being passed back and forth. Question number 14, Lip.
Which of the following NBL owners does not have an Xbox One X? Is it Fry, Playa or Pricey?
I know one in the chat they should know definitely has an Xbox One X. We talked about it multiple times. Let's see what the guys say as I'm awaiting the question in here. Kyle's already got his answer in, which is absolutely incorrect. And actually, Nick Mazesco's on a comeback tour. He says Fry. That's absolutely right. Playa does have one, which was Kyle's answer. So we're going to give a point to OSU here. Here we go, 6-8 on a comeback tour. Question number 15. Let's go, Lip.
Who is the most recent NBL Owners Hall of Fame nominee? Is it Gubb, Unisolated, or Delvar? The most recent one.
NBL Owners Hall of Fame you can find on 365.maddenbomberleague.com. OSU's got his answer in. He is correct. Kyle, his answer in. He's correct. Both of them said Delvar. That's a correct answer. Kyle moves to point number 9. OSU point number 7. He's closing in on them, and we only got 4 questions left. Question number 16.
Which one of the players listed below is mentioned in our NBL rookie draft intro? Is it Ansa Sherrod, Julius Way, or Tani Iwabima?
This intro was actually done by me. I did the voiceover, done by Project Fat. I just did the voiceover. Wait, let me take that back.
Can you repeat?
Big shout out to Project Fat. Who
No,
needs the question
no repeating.
repeated? Just pick an answer. Let's go. Why did you send?
Did he send a GIF? A GIF?
No, he just said Delvar. I don't know what that even means.
Nailed it.
Just
That was
repeat
from
the
the
answers
previous.
for him. Just repeat the answers. You don't get the question repeated. Just repeat the answers.
Ansa Sherrod, Julius Way, or Tani Iwabima?
OSU's already got his answer locked and loaded. He is correct. Let's see. It's my voice. You should remember what it is. And Kyle says Asha Sherrod, and so does OSU. They're both correct. 8 to OSU and 10 for Kyle.
I'm calling crap. He got like 14 seconds for that one.
Here we go.
He's listening to the intro. That was way too much time.
Question number 17. You're going to have to give a Delvar for our appeal, the appellate court. Question number 17. Here we go, Lip. 3 questions remain. OSU is down I think he's down just, what, 2 points?
I should be only down 1, but you gave Kyle an hour to listen to the intro, so let's go.
Here we go. Question number 17. Let's see if he can get it right.
What team was OG bucked in NBL? The Seahawks, the Falcons, or the 49ers? OG bucked.
Both contestants said the 49ers. That is absolutely correct. He won back-to-back NBL Super Bowls on 365.maddenbomberleague.com. You can see those Super Bowl championships in Madden. What was it, Madden 25? Or Madden 15, right?
Madden 15.
Madden 15, absolutely. Big shout-out to him. Haven't seen him around in a while. That's 11 points for Kyle and 9 points for OSU. And here we go. OSU essentially has to run the table here. He's going question number 18. So we got 3 questions left. Kyle's going to have to miss 2 of the next 3. And OSU's got to beat him on him. So let's see if we can get it done. Question number 18. Let's go.
What does former NBL owner and current Grid owner Jugs infamously wear during portions of his Grid podcast?
Ooh.
An NBL t-shirt, a ski mask, or a clown nose?
This is a really good one. If you guys don't follow or watch Jugs, a little podcast in Grid, it's actually pretty cool, guys. It's it's definitely entertaining. Kyle's already got his answer in. Waiting on OSU. OSU says clown nose. Please be clown nose. That's incorrect. Kyle says ski mask. It's ski mask. That's the correct answer.
Racist.
Kyle moves to 12. OSU moves to 9. I think that wraps up the end of this game.
That's
going to do it.
2
OSU,
questions left. You can't do it.
Do we want to run out the questions?
Yeah, let's run
let's
out.
run them
All
out.
right, let's run them out then.
All right,
Count
question
them in
number
the dirt.
19. Which owner gave the largest one-year contract in NBL history? The player was Drew Brees, and it was a one-year deal for $38 million. Was it Tot, Freddie, or Sonny?
Kyle's answer, since he knows he can't lose, he says Bomber. Obviously, I wasn't one of the answers. That's wrong. And OSU says Freddie. That's actually correct. So OSU's going to move.
I
on to 10.
actually said first. I assume bananas.
Not a bad guess. That should have been
Not
one
a
of the
bad
options.
guess. Yeah, that definitely should have been. We should have been. That makes more sense as it's 10 to 12 right now with the final question remaining. Question number 20.
Question number 20. Which NFL player is featured on our NBL Live Player of the Game graphic that is at the end of every NBL Live?
This is great trivia, guys. I know you guys are probably thinking of that graphic right now, but go ahead and let's share the answers, potential answers.
Is it Dexter McCluster, Darren McFadden, or Ezekiel Elliott?
And we're waiting for the answers to come in. See if you know it in the chat. Both guys are actually correct. That was a question I came up with. I didn't think people really paid much attention to, like, and, you know, it's filtered very funny, and you can't really see exactly who it is. But when you look at it, you're like, I know it, and they both answered Darren McFadden, which was the correct answer. Makes the score 13-11, so in a valiant effort, OSU goes down. He scores 11 points. Kyle is the winner of the season one, 3-0.
I'm filing an appeal with the
OSU. Any final last words? Is that your last word? You're going to be filing an appeal with
I'm
us?
filing an appeal with Delvar because Kyle got to look up way too many answers. You gave him way too much time. I'm also filing an appeal with the Hague because the war crime that happened to that belt while in Kyle's possession, that's not good for anyone. I'll be looking for my refund considering it'll be sending it out. Not to Delvar, so.
That sounds like a sticky situation, man.
And there we go. OSU, thanks for coming on. Kyle, Matt Miller, you're moving on to the boss round. You're going to be taking on Lip. And here it goes. Here's the mode right here. Hot, we got any music for this? We got any nice, you know, mysterious game theme music? I never asked you for
Do we want to hear my Halloween noise from a few episodes ago?
That episode didn't even come out.
User was kicked out of
Kyle
your
from the channel. Bye.
User disconnected from your
Kyle's
channel.
been removed from the channel,
User
but we're
joined your
gonna bring him back in here for the boss mode. Big shout out to OSU, our network director, for coming on the show. Always great to have him on the broadcast. And here we go. Here's the 3 and out. Here's the boss mode. Here's the question. And Lip will go first. The person that it ends on, and this is more of an advantage to the challenger. The challenger being Kyle, the winner of season 1, 3 and out. Whoever it lands on that cannot name a name or names an incorrect name is out. Here's the very simple question we're going to ask. It's going to go back and forth. Kyle, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Simple yes would do.
Ready.
Absolutely, Kyle. Absolutely, Kyle. Here's the question. As Kyle's on his Google machine looking for every possible idea where he could go. And here we go. The question is, I want you to name a person who's been an admin, an official admin in the Madden Bomber League. You can name it from now all the way to when we started. Whoever gets to a point where they name either an incorrect name or they can't name a name, you have 15 seconds to name a name. If you can't name it, then the game's over. And here we go. First one up, Lip. Go ahead and give your admin in the NBL throughout our entire duration.
Well, I'll go with the king. I'll say Bomber. Bomber.
All right, Lip says Bomber. Who do you got, Kyle?
Go with Bobito.
He goes with Bob. Who you got, Lip?
Can I name myself?
Yes.
I name myself, Lip.
All right, Lip. Go ahead, Kyle.
Train.
Rain. Go ahead, Lip.
October.
October. So basically right now is going to be the turn of Kyle, the challenger here, and we've named all the current admins, so it's going to get a little touchy right now. Let's see what Kyle really knows about the NBL. Here we go, Kyle. Name name a person that's been an admin in the NBL. You got 15 seconds, Hop. Make sure we get him on the clock there.
Was Heartless ever official?
No. Is that your answer? I mean,
No, that's not my answer.
What do you get to ask? You don't get to.
If it's wrong, it's not my
if
answer.
It's going to be on there. You have an answer for us.
I got nothing, man.
And that's going to do it. He loses the boss level. He will not go on the Wall of Champions, but he is the Season 1 3 and out champion. Kyle, get started on your own graphic to promote yourself. And that was a pretty horrible effort. I mean, you don't know the history. Lip, give us.
User joined your channel.
Lip, go ahead and give us.
I got so mad. I had to come back in. Did he say Heartless? He wanted said Heartless. Are you kidding me?
I saw Nick in the chat say that he could have done that.
I can name the original. Are you kidding me?
Hey, well, let's go ahead. OSU, you want to play where we're already at and take over and see how far you can get? Do you have any other names? He don't have any. Lip, go ahead and just name off a few that you have that people want to know.
Hold on. I want OSU to try it. OSU, fill in for Kyle. I said Bomber. Kyle said Bob. I said myself. Kyle said Train. I said October. It is up. Your turn now. Name an admin of any point in NBL history.
Admin at any point. Well, okay. So Fat was didn't he get
Fat was never an admin.
Fat got Commissioner Grid, wasn't he?
No,
Jeez.
No. Hey, y'all really? All right.
No,
Lip,
Justin.
What a
Oh, that's the right one.
loser.
Okay,
There you go.
Justin.
That's a good one.
Go. So Lip said Justin Basson, who's in our NBL Hall of Fame. You can find out on 365.
OSU said Justin.
I said Justin.
OSU said Justin.
Who did I say said that?
You said Lip.
Lip.
Gosh, man, I never get OSU right anymore. Okay, yeah.
You give him all the easy ones.
There we go. That's the same question you just had, clown. All right, go ahead, Lip. You're up.
I'll go with the toss king himself, Frost. Way back in the day.
Wow, way back in the day. Shout out to him. All right, you got anybody else, OSU?
Bayou.
Bayou was never that.
No, we were actually looking for iceberg lettuce.
Iceberg lettuce. Well, I know Tom was network director. Is that ever an admin position?
No, Tom was an admin.
Tom was an admin.
Okay.
We'll give him credit for Tom. All right, Tom. Now go back, Lip.
I'll go with one of my real life friends, Big P.
Oh, Big P, the original co-commissioner of the NBL. That's
now
a trivia question.
I set that up for OSU to have.
Another out.
There's one out there that if he could get it, he might stump me.
Okay. See if OSU can get it.
Oh God, another admin.
Yeah, one of his questions was actually on the 20. It was an answer to one of the questions. The trivia.
Wait, is P Money and Big P the same
There
guy?
you go. Okay, no, they're different people.
Good.
P Money's the guy. So back to Lip.
Yeah, P Money was, and then the final one that I have is as Major.
Absolutely. So Major was also an admin in the NBL. Anybody else? I think that's actually it.
I think that is all of them.
DK.
There's actually one that
DK was not.
Come on,
there's
DK.
actually one that nobody
I
would
have
really
one
know
in my
about.
back pocket, but I'm not sure if it's actually.
And who's that?
I don't want to say it.
He's gonna say Heartless.
I feel like there was. I feel like I remember that there was about a 36-hour period where Sonny was involved in that.
Yo, Sonny was an admin for about 36 hours. That
There you go.
actually is correct.
I would like
the
to point
king,
out,
baby.
I would like to point out in our team speak, Hop said CMF. Which it's not correct.
was
Yeah, but
admin in
he
Grid,
did it better.
He did.
Did it better. All right, guys, moving on to the Crossfire segment. We're going to take 2 questions and talk about them. That's it. So what do you guys have for the Crossfire? See 19 people still watching, and thanks for hanging around. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. So, yeah, if y'all want to talk about some Crossfire stuff, bring it up right now. Any questions so far, Hop? Have we got anything in the chat?
Pricey asks, why only 36 hours?
Why only 36?
Good question.
Okay, I don't, my memory is usually pretty good. Thinking about that right now, I think Sonny just came in as admin, and it was just like a lot of, he tried to, I think he just tried to change a lot of standing rules already and question a lot of it. It was just
I think he threw for 575 yards and 6 touchdowns with somebody, and that was he didn't know why that was not NBL.
Really? I don't remember that. That could be true, but I don't remember. We have to ask Sonny if he remembers that. I just remember that part of us bringing him in as an admin. I don't even know if Lip was around at that point, honestly. But my memory could be wrong. I feel like you were on PlayStation at the time.
No, I was, because I remember when he left NBL, and I was devastated. It was like Sonny was gone.
Is Madden? Who asked how bad is Madden?
Bananas.
Gosh, Bananas.
Get out.
You've won more than half the people, more than probably 80% of the people in the league. Odell Beckham's hurt, and when you're Odell Beckham dependent, struggle.
I like that question. What team is going to falter and miss the NBL playoffs?
Oh, that's a tough one there. I don't like throwing people under the bus, but let's see. Lip already said earlier the Saints that he's thinking about. I could see injuries for one of those NFC South teams. That's where I'd be at. Hop, I said we're taking 2 questions. You're put already like 30 questions in here. Most expensive multi-year question. Best team in the NFC. Who's going to falter? I like impact of Grid on NBL. Let's end on that one. Grid, obviously, we have some information about scheduling. OSU, you're here. Give us a little insight about Grid and what we're going to be doing in Grid. For those that are still sticking around, we got about 19, 20 people watching right now. Grid's obviously going to be we're going to be helping develop some of our broadcasting talent through Grid, which also gives Grid the opportunity to have their show on the big stage on their own YouTube channel. OSU, you got some more insight for us about that?
Yeah, so basically what we're looking to do is continually push the envelope and grow the NBL network. And one of the best ways that we can do that is through our Grid, our development league here in the NBL. What our plan is to do is starting next season, we are going to start doing something called the Grid Spotlight, which is once each and every week in the calendar, not every game week, but once a week. We will be featuring a Grid game on the Grid YouTube channel live. It'll be like an NBL live broadcast. The twist on this is we're going to have a lot of people trying out their opportunity to be on the network. So if you're somebody who's never done broadcasting, might want to try play-by-play, might want to try color commentating. If you're somebody who wants to try producing, something that Hop is doing tonight, or Delvar or myself do, it's an opportunity to do it in a low-pressure environment. Plus, it's an opportunity for people in the Grid to showcase their talents, for everybody to see the next wave of talent that's going to be coming up to the NBL. So we're really excited to put on this show. Again, it's going to be once every week over on the Grid YouTube channel. And it should be a great opportunity to hear some new voices and to give people some opportunity to get some reps in on the network, and also to see some of those people that are going to be coming up to the NBL in the near future.
Absolutely, man. I'm really stoked about that. Interested to see how it's going to develop. And, I mean, even if we got something going every other real-life week in Grid, it would just be a start, and it would be something to help develop these guys and help them be an asset to the NBL community, as well as allow them to be an asset in Grid. Obviously interested in growing our development league. I think the time is probably now. We've discussed this, had many people bring this idea up, and now it's time to pull the trigger. We know we're looking to grow Grid. I think Grid's been very consistent. Big shout-out to Z-Star over there, commissioning that, as well as Hound doing a great job over there. Even Eric G's about to step up into a nice role over there. So we got a lot of guys putting forth a lot of effort and time into Grid, and we really appreciate that. Even Train's overlooking the Grid right now. He was the commissioner that set and made all this stuff possible, and Z-Star's kind of the follow-through right now for the Grid right now, and we're just really excited about that, Lip. I think that's going to do it for the show. You got anything else, Lip?
Yeah, well, I think a big thing for Grid is I really appreciate the work that the admins do over there, because of that filter, that little buffer in between NBL and the community. It really, it's hard. I know we went through that in the early stages, and those guys doing the things that they do allows NBL to be what it is, and they deserve a lot of praise, and you know, they do a great job with it. So that makes a big impact on NBL, is when we can kind of screen those guys and see how they are with adjusting to our rules.
You got something to say, OSU?
Well, I was.
Hey, OSU, you ever cut my guy off on our own show?
Hey, no, because I just got one more. You mind if I drop one more announcement here on the Commissioner Corners podcast?
If it promotes highly debatable, we're cutting them off.
It is no. It is. We're changing it to highly debatable. We've decided no. One more announcement.
Good move.
Just wanted to throw out, because we've got some of the details actually set down now. Is we ran that NBL EA Access tournament last August, and it was big success. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Next season, we're looking to give back to the community even a little more than we already do. So what we're going to be doing with our next EA Access tournament for Madden 19 is we're going to be doing a 24-hour stream, and during that time we're going to be giving every proceed.
24 hours?
Yeah, we're going to be doing a 24-hour stream, and we're going to be giving all of our proceeds to two charities. It's going to be Extra Life, which gives money back to children's hospitals around the country, and the Wounded Warriors program, giving money to our veterans. So we're still ironing out the details, but yeah, we're going to be doing 24 hours of streaming and giving a lot to charity. So we'll have more details released over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, that's great stuff. OSU brought that to my attention about a couple weeks ago. Wounded Warriors, and then you said the Life program. What is the one that Uber's using? Extra Life. Uber, I believe, is using that as well.
Yeah.
So cool stuff, man. Really some cool stuff. We'll have more details, more graphics, more information. We'll be pushing that out towards probably around the August time frame of our EA Access tournament that will be running annually. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. This was episode number 28. We went ahead and talked about Russell Wilson, the NFC South. We also did the final episode of the first season of the 3 and Out game show. The winner was Kyle. He did not complete the boss mode, so he's not going to be on the wall of champions, but he is our season 1 winner. And by the time we get to probably season 5, we'll have all the winners come on and just do a season of all the winners, and maybe even the winners and the runner-ups. We'll see how that goes. OSU, next season we'll gladly like to have you on, probably on the first one, see if you can come back and try to get that title again. I don't know when it's going to be. We're still working out the details. We just wanted to make sure we finished season 1 and completed it, and it will be up on upcoming episodes. But thank you for joining us. You were watching Commissioner Corner Podcast on the NBL Network. For Lip, my co-host, and behind the scenes pulling the strings hot today, big shout out to him coming through on a last-minute notice. Kyle and OSU both for joining us tonight. Thank you for everybody who showed up. And if I missed you on a shout-out, I think I missed one of my guys on a shout-out. My bad. I'll get you next time on NBL Live next time I'm on. But thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Commissioner Corner Podcast.